Police in upstate New York are talking with NASCAR superstar Tony Stewart after the weekend death of another driver in a dirt track race. Authorities have made no charges surrounding the death of 20-year-old Kevin Ward Jr., but say the investigation is in its early stages. Stewart's number 14 car seems to make contact with Kevin Ward Jr.'s 13 car, which you see hits the wall and spins out. Now, Ward will get out of his car. He walks on the track toward the other cars, and he's pointing his finger supposedly at Stewart's car. We're going to stop the video before the impact, but the right rear tire of Stewart's car appeared to hit Ward, eventually killing him. Joining me now, former NASCAR driver Geoff Bodine and Rachel Nichols, the host of CNN's Unguarded. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Geoff, I'm sure you've seen this video 100 times. When you look at it, what did it look like to you?
Well, I have an opinion of what happened that night. I mean, it's obvious that Kevin walked down the track. Most drivers have done that in their career. Somebody bumps them and they get out of their car, they go down there, shake their fist at him, or makes a gesture to show their displeasure. And that's what Kevin was doing. And that's where the mistake was made. Obviously, it was a dimly lit racetrack. He was wearing a black uniform and very hard to see under those conditions.
The other driver did see him, though, and swerved to avoid him. Stewart didn't appear to see him at all.
Well, that's a problem with that type of car. They had that big wing on top, and so it's hard to see past another car. And when the car in front of Tony swerved, all of a sudden Kevin was standing there. And Tony tried to react to miss Kevin, but obviously that wasn't what happened. And we see drivers do this all the time. It happened right in Watkins Glen on the Saturday race, and I think you've heard this before. Drivers need to not do those things. We're supposed to be smart guys driving these race cars, so getting out of your car, which is a safer environment, and getting out on a racetrack as cars are going by is not a safe environment. And hopefully NASCAR, along with all the other sanctioning bodies around the world, will stop us from doing that in some way. I'm sure they'll come up with a solution to this problem.
Rachel, do you think so?
Look, you certainly hope so, because it's a two-pronged issue here. First of all, you have the driver getting out of his car because tempers are flaring. He feels like he has to defend his place. He's been knocked out of the race in most of these kinds of cases, and as Geoff said, it happens over and over and over again, and he wants to make a point. He also, in a lot of ways, is standing his ground. There's a machismo ethic there. There's, hey, I'm going to show you I'm not going to back down. Nobody else should mess with me. You got to eliminate that factor, because if drivers are told they have to stay in the car, and if they're told that if they don't, they'll be penalized, their teams will be penalized, well then it sort of gives them a little bit of an excuse. Now they're not expected to go out there and have that machismo reaction and defend their honor and their team's honor in that way. And maybe it'll give drivers a little bit more protection.
Well, there's machismo on the other side too, because Tony Stewart has a long history of hot-headedness. I'm not saying that he was at fault, because they're still investigating that, but that might have played a part in this too.
Look, it is part of the ethic of racing. There's no doubt about it. And you're right, Tony Stewart, regardless of this incident, separate from this incident, has made a career in some ways of having a hot-headed personality. Fans love him for it. It is part of the reason he has made so much money. You got to take a look at this. This is from a few years ago, an incident with Matt Kenseth. He and Tony Stewart get tangled up. Stewart feels that Kenseth knocked him out of a winning position in the race. And what does he do? He walks onto the track in front of a car, basically, and throws his helmet at Kenseth. You tell me how close this is. Obviously, Kenseth didn't hit him, but when you look at the circumstances of the race on Saturday night, it looks awfully familiar. This is something drivers do, and it's dangerous.
So Geoff, it seems to me that NASCAR sort of encourages this behavior.
Oh, no, not at all. No, they discourage it. In our drivers' meeting, they always tell us if we're in an accident, stay in the car. You put your window net down if you're okay, to show everyone you're okay. When the safety workers get to your car, then you get out. They escort you to the ambulance to take you in to check you out to make sure you're okay. We're never told to get out and do any of those things. They discourage that. And they're going to have to put some penalties on if we do that. But the instinct of a
But see,
driver.
Jeff, they're not penalizing anyone, so isn't that encouraging the behavior if there's no penalty involved?
That's your opinion. No, race drivers are supposed to be smart enough to know not to get out in front of a race car. I've done it. And so, I guess that makes me a hot-tempered driver because I've done exactly what Tony has done. I never threw a helmet. They cost too much. I used to throw my gloves and other things at people. And I've had things thrown at me. And believe me, Tony Stewart ranks at the top of the list of drivers in the world. He ranks up there with Mario Andretti and AJ Foyt. He can drive anything he's wanted, everything he's gotten into, and that's a special person. So he knows how to handle a car. And I've thrown things at Tony. He never tried to hit me with his vehicle, and vice versa. People have done it to me. Drivers don't do those things. We might run into each other racing. That's called racing, rubbing racing, but not use your vehicle as a weapon against another driver.
All right, Geoff Bodine, Rachel Nichols, thanks to both of you. I appreciate it. Still to come in the newsroom, it is not unusual.